What's up everybody? So in this video we're going to be talking about everything that you need to know for D4.3 HL. Before you watch this video, make sure to check out teachme.org if you want awesome notes, tons and tons of IB style questions, and even mock exams. You guys must know that there are certain events in nature that only happen at a specific time. For example, flowering. Certain flowering plants will only bloom or flower at a specific time of the year. For the remaining part of the year, you won't see that flower. It'll be non-existent. And other organisms, like certain birds, they have a specific timing of their migration patterns. And other organisms only breed or have babies at a specific time of the year. All of these are examples that relate to the idea of phenology. So phenology is the study of timing in nature, specifically how seasonal changes like temperature and daylight influences life cycle events of plants and animals. Very important, please remember that these two things, the amount of daylight and the temperature, are key things that trigger certain events that rely on timing. And we're going to see examples throughout this video. I already mentioned some examples of these life cycle events, these phenomena, but there are many examples in nature, so don't get stuck on the ones I mentioned. We're going to dive a little bit deeper into flowering, okay, the example of flowering. So you know plants, if you've ever noticed and you look very closely at the stems, you may have noticed these little round ball-like structures that are forming. They aren't leaves, but they aren't flowers, and they aren't branches. So what exactly are they? These are very cool. These guys... Let me line these up for those who have some cringe, some OCD. So these guys are called buds, and they're really cool, and let's define them. These are small, undeveloped growth points on a plant containing cells, specifically stem cells, that can develop into stems, leaves, flowers, or branches. So basically, they have the potential to become any plant structure in the future. So basically like stem cells. Naturally, we can divide buds into three categories: a leaf bud, a flower bud, and a mixed bud, depending on what it will become in the future. So naturally, a leaf bud will contain the stem cells. And by the way, we call these stem cell regions in the bud a shoot apical meristem, a region that contains these stem cells. And these stem cells will divide into will differentiate into leaf primordia. This is basically going to be the future leaf. So right now it's in there, we can't see it, but it's going to be the future leaf. And the flower bud will be basically the same thing, except it's going to contain the stem cells that will differentiate into an embryonic flower, the future flower. And again, it's in there, and when this bud opens, we will see the flower. And then lastly, we have a mixed bud. A mixed bud will contain both in the future a leaf and a flower. That's very important to understand. Now, bud setting is the process of making this bud, and bud bursting is the process where this bud will open and reveal what's inside, whether it be the leaf, the flower, or both. Now, flowering is a phenological process, so it depends on timing, and this timing of when it's going to happen is determined by temperature and daylight. And we'll talk a bit about this one more soon. So it has to be the right temperature and the right daylight before flowering will happen. So this brings us to talk about daylight a little bit more because it's super important. And there's some key words we need to know. For access to our full-length premium videos and so much more, head over to teachme.org now.